And we're live. So 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, folks, to the WP-Tonic show. This week in WordPress and SaaS, we've got a great special guest. We've got Andrew Fearbert. I probably butchered his surname, but as you know, my listeners and viewers, my ability to do that is endless. He's the CEO of Lasso. He also runs a really popular podcast, which you might go back to. He has his days. Listen to Where the Money Matters. I used to listen to it. It's going to be a great conversation. It's all going to be about his product, Lasso, that helps with affiliates marketing, his own thoughts around affiliate marketing. He's an extremely experienced online marketer, podcaster, just got fantastic knowledge. It should be a great show. But before we go into the interview, I've got a couple messages from our major sponsors that pay the bills. So we'll be back in a second. We're coming back. I just want to point out that I also do a great weekly newsletter about WordPress and tech in general. You can get this great newsletter in your inbox every Sunday or Monday by going over to WP-Tonic/newsletter. And on that page, there's a great selection of WordPress plugins, offers, things that I personally recommend. They're affiliate links. It helps the show as well. And you can also sign up for the newsletter. So let's go straight into this great interview. So, Andrew, would you like to give an introduction about yourself and about how you got into Lasso and building this platform? Over to you, Andrew.
Yeah, so a long time ago, I was a data engineer, a developer. And while I love my job, I kind of wanted to be my own boss. And I found Pat Flynn, create your own online thing. And so I created a website, Listen Money Matters. We were a podcast, blog, did really well. I grew quickly an audience, but I had no idea how to monetize it. And so it took me about 3 years until I even made a meaningful amount of money. And it turned out the thing that really worked for us was affiliate marketing. And as we grew and we had more writers on the website, it became really difficult to kind of manage at scale. Being a developer, I kind of built my own tooling to help run things. I saw it as my competitive advantage, and eventually my friends convinced me to sell this. And that's what Lasso is. It's really just a pro toolkit for affiliate marketers.
That's great. So what do you, because we had a pre-recording chat. I am one of those that's on both sides. I have affiliate links, products, services, and I also have my own affiliate plan because that's the other side of my business. So I'm a content producer, podcasting, YouTube channel, but I also have my own business, Andrew. So I was really looking forward to this interview because of your vast experience and also what Lasso does. So what do you see as a couple of the real challenges that affiliate people that either want income through affiliate marketing or want to get good quality affiliates for their own product? What are some of the major problems they face that they need to know about, and how does Lasso help them with those problems?
Yeah, so when I started blogging like 10 years ago, text link was enough. Mobile was like barely a thing, and as time has gone on, people arriving at your site, they're not like looking to spend 10 minutes and hang out, and they really want the answer. And so one of the early lessons was essentially call out boxes. And so the level one was, the product, price, a button. And eventually, as we A/B tested this over time, something that answered all of the objections of the visitor, gave them the answer they were looking for, really worked. And so it's that. And then you build your site, you're trying to rank for things, and or things you think it's important for your audience to know. And, years later, you may build a relationship with another company or build your own tool as a way to monetize these things. But you have like this back catalog that isn't monetized. And so one of the things that where Lasso really shines is identifying those opportunities and things you've already created. And so let's say, for an example, you have a personal finance site and you link to a bank, and you wrote this article years ago and you build this relationship now. Lasso will identify those links, tell you that an affiliate program exists for it, and help you essentially make those connections and then automate it into the future.
Oh, well, that's fabulous. So on the other side, as I was telling you, WP-Tonic's got an affiliate plan. I've got it all set up, but I really haven't done much with it. It's one of my main marketing objectives in 2023, which I'm planning out now, to really do something with that. For Lasso, have you utilised affiliate marketing with Lasso? And if not, I'm still sure you've got some great insights because you're such an experienced and effective digital marketer. So where do you think people go wrong on the other side in trying to utilise affiliate marketing to market their product service?
Yeah, so we definitely have an affiliate program with Lasso. It's one of the biggest drivers of revenue
Oh,
for us. The hardest part with the product is the education piece, and obviously affiliates really handle that for you. So they're bringing you warm traffic instead of cold traffic, like someone just kind of like off of a Google search. And one of the people that we work with a lot of big brands. And I was talking to the woman who runs Chewy's affiliate program, and their biggest problem is not getting people to sign up for their affiliate program. Their biggest problem is getting them to actually add a single link to Chewy on their website. And that's one of the ways that Lasso shines, and where we've collaborated with people like Chewy and Fanatics is um, essentially identifying these links that could be monetized with Chewy, or competitor links to Chewy, and basically showing that you can earn more with Chewy. And so a lot of these people who run affiliate programs promote Lasso because, one, their affiliates convert better, and two, they'll actually activate, they'll get links on their site.
right. So to recap that, so you're saying that the biggest problem on the person that has an affiliate plan and wants to get good affiliates is identifying content that ranks and can drive traffic to their product service. But the main problem, after they've approached this individual and they've agreed, is them to actually take action. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the numbers of your program, but I imagine you have hundreds of people who have signed up to promote
Oh
your
no,
your
no, that's
services.
no. Unfortunately, but a lot less than that. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to have a real go at it, Andrew.
But the point is that the ratio of people who have signed up to people who even send a single click is generally really low. So even if you've signed up 20 people, but you're getting no clicks, or they haven't added your links to your site, you essentially have an activation problem. You found 20 people who were like, yeah, this is interesting. I think I could promote this. I'd like to promote it, but they've done nothing. And so that's why people who run affiliate programs promote Lasso, is because we're a tool for the publishers. So the publishers see the value. We will help drive conversions. And then if you're running an affiliate program, that's essentially what you want, right? You want them to succeed because their success is your success.
Yeah, that sounds like. Got any other insights about what have been some of the more effective way to work with your affiliate partners in actually getting a result for yourself and a result for them? Got any additional insights?
Yeah, you have to make it ridiculously easy.
Mm-hmm.
So show them where the opportunities in their existing content are, or give them swipe copy so they could literally just copy what I've written about Lasso and just put it into their newsletter. So it takes literally zero effort for them to do. That's one piece. And the other is, what you probably don't realize is you are competing with every other affiliate program out there
Yeah.
for your promoters' attentions. And so you need to have a rate paired with your conversion rate. So you're paying X dollars per conversion paired with your conversion rate that's competitive. And so if your conversion rate's low, you need to pay more, because at the end of the day, they may see your product as an opportunity, but if WP Engine is going to pay them $100 per conversion, they're going to get pulled over there. And so you need to make sure it's priced competitively and really easy for them to see initial results. If they send that newsletter with the exact text you wrote and get conversions, they may believe where there's smoke, there's fire, and invest more of their own time into promoting your product.
Yeah, that makes sense. How got any insights about how you should approach how do you, in your own company or based on your experience, how do you identify good possible affiliate partners, and how do you do that initial outreach to them, Andrew?
Yeah, so we've tried a lot of the tools out there, like Publisher Discovery or all these like other things. They basically just like crawl the web and they're like, this website has affiliate links, you should try them. And the cold emails and everything, it generally does not work well. What does work well is, for example, Lasso is an affiliate marketing plugin for WordPress. So if, we go to Ahrefs or just even Google search things like affiliate marketing plugin for WordPress, these are all lists, and I believe Lasso's on it. And I also know that my competitors don't pay; they convert low, and we have a really high payout. So I contact them like, "Hey guys, you want to make an extra $1,000 a month just by jamming our link in here? Don't even write anything. I've written it for you. Here, just put it in." That tends to work really well. So just identifying the opportunities and being straight up honest with them. Don't be like, I listen to your podcast, I'm a big fan. Just be real, short, and talk about the money.
No, I did. Yeah, I understand that. So to recap, what you're saying is you're going to have to do a bit of research, find out articles that are about your particular sector where your product service is competing, find articles, people that are written that are ranking, and then do honest outreach and then provide them with content that makes it really easy for them to become your affiliate partner and to actually put it on their website. I think that's what you were saying.
Yeah. And, research maybe sounds like a huge nebulous thing, but I'd go for really high intent stuff. For example, if someone's looking for alternatives to a competitor's product, you belong in that article. Alternatives convert exceptionally well. There's just really high intent to buy versus like a very fluffy educational article. But
Yeah. I was listening, as I mentioned to you, I was listening to one of your most recent interviews, and it was a really good interview. And you seem very focused, and one of the key things you were trying to get across in the interview, my perception was intent. You seem to utilize that word quite a lot in the interview that I listened to today, where you were talking, I think one of the phrases you utilize in the interview is you could have a website that gets thousands and thousands and hit, but if it's low intent, it's not going to convert. Where a site that has an article and the people are hitting it and the article generates people that got a much higher intent, the conversion is going to be much better. What I'm saying to this, you seem to suggest a lot of people don't really understand it. It's something I didn't grasp until about 18 months ago, that there's different type of articles and there's different places on the funnel, and that there's certain articles that people go to.
I like to look at it like this. The best article that you've published or written is probably the one that you didn't create and didn't publish. More is not better. You're wasting effort. There's like this saying, it's more wood behind fewer arrows. And so when you're looking for things to create, I think you need to put yourself in the shoes of the visitor and ask selfishly, what are they trying to get out of the article? If, for example, you're trying to sell dog leashes and the query is, are dogs allergic to poison ivy? You're not really going to sell many dog leashes because people are not arriving to the article with the goal of buying a dog leash. However, if you created an article that was best gifts for dog lovers or 13 best dog collars for pit bulls, those are people arriving are looking to buy. And so you can't only create those things, but you need to really focus in on what the goal of the visitor is, because if you try and shoehorn something in, it's not going to work. And to give you an example of something I learned building Listen Money Matters, for a few years, we ranked #1 for the term passive income, which if you look in any keyword tool, gets something like 50 to 70,000 searches a month. And it received an incredible volume of what was essentially very low quality traffic. People aren't focused in their search. They don't know what they're trying to get. And so as much products as I tried to kind of include in there, nothing really worked against tens of thousands of visitors. And what would have been better is to go for the term that gets, 40 searches a month, but is exactly speaking to the problem my product solves. So all 40 visitors are buyers. So instead of maybe getting 5 buyers out of 50,000 visitors, I can get 40 buyers out of something that 40 people search, and there's going to be almost no competition because no one is looking to get an additional 40 visitors to their site. A lot of these content sites are earning their revenue based on display ads, which is measured in thousands. And so where you need to go is where the competition is not, and where you can speak directly to the people who are literally looking for you. You can't get thrown off by these numbers that are essentially meaningless. You have to kind of niche down to not be cliche. But
well, you just put a word out. That was the next question, but I think we need to go for our middle break, and when we come back, I'll put what my follow-through question was. So we're going to go for our break, folks. We'll be back in a few moments. We're coming back. Just want to point out, I've got a great Facebook group, WP Masterminds for WordPress experts and professionals. Do a search under WP-Tonic in Facebook and join the group. I'm posting almost every week new stuff, and you can be part of the conversation. I thought it was a great conversation, the first part, Andrew. So just my quick follow-through question. You mentioned it, you took the word right out of my mouth. I was going to say nicheify. I'm not sure nicheify. I have a habit of creating words. If I think a word should exist, I create it, James. And so I'm not sure if this word exists, nicheify. It should do, should it, Andrew? And I really think in a world of ever increasing competition, and it does help with the content and the focus, is don't be worried. Obviously, you can always take anything too far, but normally you can't nicheify enough, really. What do you think about that, James?
Andrew, yeah, so I definitely agree. We have a large gift website, and so all of our articles are gifts for Christmas gifts, whatever. And we'd ranked for Christmas gifts, not many purchases, but gifts for dolphin lovers, gift for 13-year-old boys that like Legos, really specific things convert exceptionally well. And the added side effect is there's literally no one in there competing for the volume. And so it's one of these things where we don't even focus on backlinks. We just create hyper specific things for the people we're looking for. And we're usually one of the only results.
Yeah, that sounds great. One thing you didn't talk about in the interview that I watched was you didn't talk about the power of influencer marketing. I think affiliates, it's linked to affiliate. You talking about your product is great, but what's really powerful is other people talking about your product and recommending it highly. Um, so, what's your thoughts in 2022 about the importance of influencer marketing and how it's linked to affiliate marketing? You're
Yeah,
screaming.
I'm gonna give the unpopular answer of if you're selling a product, you're gonna win by just having an awesome product. And so everyone talks about Ahrefs. They don't have an affiliate program. They just created an awesome tool. So you literally can't help but talk about it and share it. Um, the biggest driver of customers to Lasso is word of mouth. We literally don't know where they're coming from. Facebook groups, sometimes they tell us. And so it's incredibly powerful. And while you can focus it to a degree with an affiliate program, where you're really going to win is creating like these wonderful aha moments in your product, things where people get it and it solves the problem we're looking for. Uh, it's not about adding features and being complex. It's about scratching that one very specific itch.
Yeah, and you never really know until you actually have a product. You make educated guesses based on your experience and your own needs. I'm sure you did that. I think you said that in your past interviews about Lasso. And it's the same with my service. There's one, so it offers a lot of value, WP-Tonic, and we also used to, well, we still are, but we've changed it. We offered a very considerable hosted video part of the platform, of the hosting package. We would host your videos and it would be
Mhm.
part of the hosting package. And if you go to Vimeo Pro or one of the others, that's quite a bit of money. So I thought that our target customers would love it. Then they're not being interested at all, really. Have you had those experiences with Lasso when you built something you thought they would really rave about, and they've shown total indifference about it?
So one of the things that I learned building Listen Money Matters was I think it was like the third email in our autoresponder series. The title was "What are you struggling with?" And it was a 1 or 2 sentence email basically asking them to tell me what their problem is. And then it was, about personal finance, and they would tell me these things. And then I kind of like treated them like votes. And then the things that got the most votes, we would create a podcast episode about or an article. And we do a very similar thing with Lasso. We use this thing called Rapider, which is like basically we track votes and we ask everyone that talks to us what they like, what they don't like, what they want. Slow going in the beginning, but add a couple years behind asking that question, and it becomes crystal clear exactly what you need to do and what you don't. Like you have an idea when you start, but the truth is you're usually pretty wrong. You have like you're like broadly correct, but wrong in focus. And talking to your customers, I found solves that.
That's a that because I think that is it's a bit cliche, but really fundamentally this is so important. It is, and I say this to people that utilize our platform, and it's aimed at people building courses, and I say to them, I say, yeah, I always tell them not to get their first course out as quickly as possible. Get it out there, get your first students through it. Because I say to the people that I consult, you really don't know until you get your first batch of students what you'll learn so much from them. You'll learn what the bits of the lessons, the course that you're going to have to modify. If you modify it, it's going to be a lot seen as much more value to your target students. And I think that's what you've got to try and reduce the guessing as much as possible, and you've got to understand the people your product is aimed at or your course
I think
much.
there's a misconception when people create courses. We created courses with Listen Money Matters, and I'm in the online space working with other creators, and people kind of think that they create this course and then they need to sell it, which is correct.
Yeah.
But I think people need to view their course more like software, in that it is a continually evolving thing where the work of building the course actually never stops and you're always working on it. And I think when you do things like an Authority Hacker does an incredible job of this, and they put an enormous amount of work in every year into essentially recreating their two main courses. And that's where you get people to sing praise about your course, because your first try, your second try, your eighth revision, it's not the thing that everyone will tell all their friends about. But if you work on it incrementally for a year, it's going to be incredible. It's a year's worth of effort slowly. And so you have to get your first course out, but maybe your first course is your only course and you just ridiculously improve it.
Yeah, that's a great point, isn't it? That, I forgot what it's called in Japan. It's a name for their marketing, not marketing, production attitude. It's got a name to it, where they're continuously. Yeah, I think that's correct. Where they're continuously improving it, Andrew, aren't they? So I think that's the same. So if you could go back, let's say 5-6 years, and you could consult yourself, what one or two things would you like to be able to tell yourself that would have helped you get the results that you have achieved, but do it a lot less painfully and quicker?
Yeah, everyone wants to diversify, or they find something that's working and now they want to turn on like their next promotion engine, or add their additional product, and that's just a distraction. The founder of Airbnb writes these investor updates, and he basically talked about how they almost killed the company doing things like experiences and whatever. Like, if you are lucky enough to create a thing that people want and it's working, you need to double down on that. Most businesses, SaaS or otherwise, only have 1 or 2 marketing channels that even work. So if you're trying 5 different things, it's like trying to toast bread with a flashlight. Your problem is not maybe your product or the way you're promoting. Your problem is a lack of focus. And so, big companies, they have hundreds, thousands of people, and they can do many things. You are probably a small company with 1, 2, a few people behind it, and you just need to do the few things that work over and over and make those better.
In your interview, though, you've got your websites, you've got projects that not your main earners, but you're developing. How do you get that balance yourself? Because I'm the same. I've got my main business, but I've got one other business, but it's not my main focus, and I'll be criticised for saying that. But I've got a partner, but we're slowly building it up. But how you dealt with that? About having other properties, other things you're looking at, but also your main businesses.
So my time goes 100% towards Lasso. My wife puts her time into Gift Lab, and right now nobody puts their time into Listen Money Matters, because the opportunity cost, the time that goes into that versus something else, it's a distraction of focus, and you will not be able to move as fast trying to do a bunch of different things. And so as an entrepreneur, like, you have these ideas and you want to create these things are like bursting out of you. It's like you have to do it. And maintenance work is not sexy work. Everyone wants to create, but probably 80% of the work that is meaningful to your business is maintenance work, and things that are not as fun as creating a new domain and starting from zero. Those are detracting from the thing that's actually making you money and working, from being successful. So, it's something I always struggle with, and you go down the rabbit hole, but you have to catch yourself.
That's great. We're going to wrap up the podcast. Are you okay to stay on for another 10 minutes?
Yeah, for sure.
We call it bonus content. I try and keep the podcast to about 30 minutes, and then the whole interview can be watched on LinkedIn, YouTube, the Facebook. I've been a bit nervous, June, because you're an experienced podcaster, and I was a bit nervous what you're going to make of my pathetic efforts, Andrew. But I've not done too bad. It's been a bit rough, but not too bad ever.
Humble beginnings. We all put our pants on one leg at a time.
I've only been podcasting for 7 years, but there we go. How can people find out more about you and Lasso?
Yeah, so you could find Lasso at getlasso.co. You could find me and any of the places. I like Twitter the best. I'm at Andy Fieb, ANDYFIEB. But if you email anything to Lasso or our Twitter handle, or listen, it all kind of funnels back to me, or my team will let me know. You could jump onto our website and hit the intercom chat bubble and be like, Andrew, I loved or hated your interview. I'll still want to chat with you.
Oh, be generous, Andrew. It's not been that bad. So we're going to wrap
I'm
up.
not talking about you, talking about me.
You're an expert. I'm just trying to improve. So we're going to wrap up the podcast part of the show. I've really enjoyed the interview. I think we provided some insights. Like I say, please join us next week. I've actually got I'm booked out until the new year, basically, and I've got some fantastic guests like Andrew. So I'm really pleased. That's unusual that I get booked out so far. Like I say, you'll be able to watch the whole interview plus the bonus content by going mainly over to the WP-Tonic YouTube channel. We've got loads of resources on there. Please subscribe to the channel. It really encourages me to continue with the podcasting and the YouTube stuff that I produce. We'll be back next week. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye. So bonus content. So where would you like Lasso to be in a year or 18 months time? Obviously I'm not asking you to give us all your secrets, but where would where would you like, in your heart, where would you like Lasso to be in business terms, or in function, or what it can do for your clientele? What's your thoughts about that question?
Yeah, so one, I would love to be helping 100,000 affiliate marketers run their businesses. A product that we are adding to Lasso will track the actual performance of page views, clicks, and revenue. So kind of connect the dots. A lot of people, if they're earning affiliate income, they're logging into like 30 different dashboards. They're like tracking it all in a spreadsheet. They have no idea which links are driving revenue or pieces of content. So, my previous life as a data engineer is really pulling me towards not just like showing graphs and numbers, but actually providing data-driven insights. Like, this is how things are looking. We think you should do this, or other sites like you are promoting this and finding success. And so helping our customers earn more with what they've already created.
Right, that's fine. If you don't mind me asking, you said you were a data engineer by background. What led you into the podcast then?
Completely backwards by accident. So I started Listen My Matters, which was a blog, and there was a fan who had commented, and just I wound up chatting with him, and then we jumped on Skype. I had my finances under control, and he was learning, and I kind of would just like eviscerate him and like friendly, but on our conversations, and just tell him all the things he's doing wrong and why. And my wife was like, "You guys should record this." And so we just recorded our conversations, and it took off. So we then became more of a podcast than a blog, because that was way better than whatever I was writing.
Yeah, I've always had, because I've got a bit of dyslexia, Andrew, and they didn't really know what to make of me at school, so they kind of shunked me into a corner as the oddball. So I kind of had to educate myself. And radio, obviously, I'm from the UK. I live in America, Andrew, but I kind of
You're from the
educate.
UK?
Yeah, you
No.
never know, would you?
No, I mean,
Well, I say that a lot of the locals. I live in northern Nevada near Lake Tahoe. A lot of the locals think I'm Australian, Andrew.
I could see
But I
that.
don't mind it. I quite like Australians. But I'm from northeast London, actually. And I kind of had to educate myself, and it was Radio 4, which is the intellectual radio station of the BBC. So I was an avid listener to that, and it was my own kind of private education, because the teachers really couldn't care less about me because of my dyslexia. So I've always had a passion for radio. So I got into podcasting because no radio station would touch me. So that's how I got into it. What do you think are some of the, you are very experienced on producing content, written, podcasting. What's your views on YouTube as a marketing medium? Have you been tempted to, or is it the devil's brew? You need to focus on that.
YouTube. What is this YouTube you speak
Yeah.
of? I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I thought that.
So I thought of like a funny story, or not a funny story, but my dad would tell me. So my dad's colorblind, and obviously he's older than me, and times were different. And in school, because he was colorblind, their diagnosis was that he was stupid, and that was it. Teachers told his parents, "Your son's stupid. We're sorry." And that was it, And so times are different now, and we could, tell if you're dyslexic or colorblind or whatever, and there's ways to. But I thought of your story because just because you can't see a color or read things backwards doesn't mean you can't be successful.
Well, yeah, as you
you're living proof.
Well, but as you know, if people don't understand something, they're either dismissive or they get aggressive.
Yes, which times are changing, but still. So on YouTube, I think when I first started the podcast, we were audio only. Not that YouTube didn't exist, but it wasn't really this thing that people were thinking of, and we had tried taking our audio content and putting on YouTube and putting like a really simple like GIF essentially where the video should be, or really, and that's not what people want. Honestly, if you just come up with B-roll, like all this, like all B-roll is like basically free online, that's better than that. But what I've learned, and there's this video podcast that's really high quality. It's called Creative Elements, and he does a podcast, but it's a video first podcast. And so the idea is he produces it like we're literally doing right now, with real mics, and make sure the audio quality is good. And then, he edits it, and then he just pulls the audio and publishes that on his like iTunes feed. And so he does this first, and on what is successful there, it's literally like what the search was before search became saturated. You have to think about research and positioning. One of the things I learned when I would interview guests, if you publish this on YouTube and you use my name, like blah 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 episode with Andrew Fearbert, you will have a shot at ranking for me. So if people are looking for me, you can just get yourself in front of their eyeballs. And it's little things like that that really make a difference when you're producing a lot of content, because maybe 100 people a month will search me, but that times all of the guests you've ever had over many years amounts to a large audience. And these people discover you, and if only 2 stay and subscribe, still over time that becomes quite a bit.
I do the interviews. I've been doing the interviews 1 a week for the past 7 years. I mostly do it, Andrew, because I actually he introduces me people. I literally know everybody in WordPress. And I also, through Rob Rowling, he introduced me to you, I think. And yeah. Rob's a friend of mine. I asked him a couple of weeks ago, "Am I a friend, Rob?" He said, "Yeah, you're a friend, Jonathan." I took that as high praise, actually. I was quite touched with that.
He's a great guy.
He is. And it's honoured that he would consider me being a friend. and he said he would send me a invoice in a couple of weeks' time. I said, you should say no. So where the hell was I going with this? Let's get back to focus. Have you got, because I think it's linked to the podcast interview. Do you think people, because like I say, I just do the podcasting. I got into podcasting through a friend. I like radio. I like doing it. And I just met a load of people through it. And I'm satisfied with that. I did a weekly show, and I'm doing a more focused podcast. It's in the early stages, and it's going to be what you just outlined. It's going to be a live YouTube. We did the pilot last week, and the first 30 minutes, I'm going to structure it so I can turn it into a podcast, but it's going to be about an hour and 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. And after the podcast part, it's going to be more free form, answering live questions, doing tutorials, which are more live tutorials, which is more suitable for video and YouTube. But do you think people really got to be more strategic about what they're going to be doing, or are they best just to try a few things out and then stop and then think about it? Would, like your podcasting, if you knew what you knew now, would you still put all that effort into your podcast? Because I know you put a ton of work into it.
It still earns us money, and it's still a way that people discover me, and a lot of it is kind of building your own brand. But the podcast improved over time as we learned how to do it. We used to produce our episodes until we learned that people don't really listen after 30 minutes. Beyond that, you're just kind of talking to yourself. And I would argue that live is probably putting a lot of more pressure and stress on you and reducing the quality of your final product versus any of the benefits. I think the real benefits for you are creating a thing that 5 years from now people may consume because it's solving a problem they have, versus the 5 fanboys that are going to show up every episode that have already bought your product or are not going to buy it anyways. And, it's,
so I put the fear of God into you, so they're going to do an hour live on YouTube. I say
that. Maybe Mr. Beast or some of these huge people can pull that stuff off, but our followings are much more humble, and so we need to, focus. People were listening on their commutes to work and stuff like that, and if it wasn't me, it'd be someone else. And they enjoyed the show, but the truth is, it wasn't like their week was ruined if I didn't show up and produce an episode. And so it's really about making sure it fits with their schedule. It arrives when they expect it to arrive, and they can get something out of it. To an hour of someone's time is a large ask, and if they don't know when the valuable piece will come within the hour, it kind of requires them to be there for the whole hour. And when you think of it like that, of all the other things they can do, I think shorter, like a 15-minute where it's all meat was the pocket. And obviously skewing shorter, but it's really, it's like if you want me to give you an hour presentation, I'm sorry, if you want me to talk to you for 6 hours, I need a week to prepare. But if you want me to talk to you for 15 minutes, I need a month. To make it short is more challenging, but it's also more valuable.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. There we go. But I can just rabbit and rabbit and rabbit. It's just, his dribble just comes out of me anyway. There we go. I think we're going to wrap up. Obviously, you've got to get back to your empire building with Lasso. I've really enjoyed the chat, Andrew. I think we've covered. It's just an insight into what you do, your experience, and I think we've got some great stuff. We've had a great discussion. So I'm going to end it now, tribe. I'll be back next week. Like I say, I've got some fabulous people to talk to. Give us some feedback. I always like your comments and your feedback. I know some of it's not very polite, but I've got broad shoulders. We'll see you next week. Bye.